Hi everyone, welcome to this session. I would like to thank Analytics Vidhya for inviting me on speaking this topic for today. So for this topic, I would like to give an intro. The whole topic is all behind about AI and ML around customer experience. So a brief introduction about me. So already an introduction has been provided. So what I would like to say is I've been working on this field, data science and analytics field, for over 8 years. And I do maintain a few social media platforms and write contents on data science and also record videos on that. And I have been doing certain volunteer efforts on, for example, in Verizon company, I used to be a mentor, and then I've been a member as well as the ambassador for Women in Data and Data Visualization Society. So this is a brief intro about me, and let's go with the session. So the agenda for the session is I would like to take you through what is customer experience and why are we looking into customer experience as an important concept, right? So that is one thing. And then we are looking into what is AI/ML and how AI/ML is impacting customer experience in the domain. And then we have several platforms that will we use AI/ML in improving the customer experience. That is the sentimental ML, sales, demand, pricing, and then we have the education, healthcare, and also the example use cases that I would like to provide because it's a vast field. So I would like to just down some of the example use cases as well. And finally, I would like to go on with one of an project that would take you through an start to end solution. So let's get started with the what is customer experience and why is it important. So like it's already mentioned, customer experience is nothing but a complete package of an interaction between a customer with an organization or a brand. And it starts from being you as a customer, let it be a guest customer, and then you move into a paid member or you start making purchases. So this is the whole life cycle of a customer is considered to be the customer experience. So that's why we call this as an experience, because we want to, as an organization or as a brand that we are maintaining, we want to learn what is the experience and how the journey of each and every customer is according to the organization. So this data, if you see here, this is a study conducted by Zendex company, and if you see here, there are about 63% of customer experience managers says that the company prioritized the customer experience more than a goal. So this study was actually held in this year. So earlier they've noticed that customer experience has been the top first priority where they wanted to study, and if you can see, India has been leading the effort. So I feel this is very important topic that has to be addressed in terms of you being trying to indulge in data science field. So yeah, that is why I'm talking about customer experience and why it is important. As I said, it will improve your customer retention. Retention in the sense you want your customers to do business with you, right? You don't need customers leaving you, so you need customer retention. And this also can boost your customer lifetime value. So customer lifetime value is nothing but the customer the start day of your a customer enrolling into your product or anything, any services, and then the customer leaving the whole service. So that's the customer lifetime value, and that is what we want to improve. So that's why we see why customer experience is important, and then we need to improve the build the brand loyalty as well as reputation. So brand loyalty, as you can see that everyone is a consumer, like even I'm a consumer, and if you look into online platforms or Amazon or any online brands, you want they basically want to have a loyal customer, right? They want people coming back to them, always make purchase. So that's what they want in terms of loyalty. And reputation is in terms of the better the products are, the better the company is going to offer. So that's what they want to see in terms of how they can improve reputation. And the final advantage is they definitely, after sorting all of this, they're going to definitely be a competitor in the business. So that will give them a competitive advantage to other companies. So that's why customer experience is really very important. And now let's talk into why AI ML is like taking a very big role in customer experience. So AI ML, if I start with what is AI, AI is nothing but a technology that you basically being understand and interpret for certain kind of information that is well beyond the human brain. So a common example, a very common example is nothing but Siri and Alexa. So those are the artificial intelligent devices that have been used by everybody of us, like even common people like us have been using these platforms and technologies, right? So that is the whole idea of AI. And machine learning is a set of systems or any platforms or applications that learn through our experience, and then they use these patterns and things that they without any human programming or without any human intervention, it takes the patterns and then does its own thing. So that's what the machine learning part is. And the common example is the Roomba device, which is nothing but the vacuum cleaner that everybody knows. So it is an automatic cleaner that it learns by itself. That is, it goes to each and every corner and it takes the pattern and then understands that it has to move to a certain direction. So that is how machine learning can be used in several domains. So that is the whole intro of how AI ML is what is AI ML. And let's see how AI ML can be used in customer experience. So AI has been quickly been a very important innovative, so providing an innovative solution for customer experience. For example, that this is a study and opinions expressed by the entrepreneur contributors. Entrepreneur is a very big magazine that has a lot of CEOs and chief executives providing their suggestions. So in that, they are providing the data saying that 50% of the customers believe that chatbots and VAs make it harder to resolve an issue, whereas although they say this problem, they say that 37 percentage of these people, they prefer immediate help from a bot than waiting to a human. So if you think in a normal perspective, like I myself would want my problems to get resolved fast, right? I don't want to be like staying in an hour or staying in 5 to 10 minutes for a agent to come back and like talk to me and give me a solution, and it won't be even a solution, right? So time is very important. So that's why we people are trying to add AI and ML to improve customer experience. So that's one thing. And another thing is that in the recent survey, more than half of the respondents have understood that though they need a seamless experience in doing the purchasing, all that thing is important, but they need a lightning fast responses from the customer support or from the agents that if we have any issues. So that's why customer experience is important, and people are like companies are trying to understand it and are trying to incorporate AI ML in customer experience so that we as a customer can have a better experience in performing any duties that we have to do. So that's the whole idea of why AI ML is being used in customer experience. So the first thing that I would like to say is sentiment ML. So as you can see in the picture, sentiment is nothing but the emotions, right? Like you could have a positive oriented sentimental, then you could be neutral, or you could have a negative thinking about a product. So here what they're doing is AI ML. We can basically leverage AI ML into studying and analyze customers feedback or reviews and understand how the things are performing. Like for example, let me take an online store, like for example Amazon. So you could have seen there are feedback and reviews on certain products that you purchase. They basically ask you reviews on certain products that you purchase. So if you give a star rating, or if it's a 1 rating, or if it's a 5 rating, it's basically enable an organization to understand your sentiment, customer sentiment, and then based on that they can improve the product. Either they could improve the product, or they could improve their personalized recommendations and provide them offers to make the customers happy. So the goal is basically to create a unique experience to each customers, and also provide products that the customers love and want to see. So the end goal is to always make purchase and make the customers happy. So this sentimental ML is basically, we as a company or an organization or a brand wanted to study the sentiment of the customers and then perform certain actions based on it. So that's the whole idea of this sentiment ML. And then next comes the sales ML. So sales is nothing but everybody knows, right? Sales and revenue is all about money. And in a when you have an organization, like you are being a founder or your owner, or you want to see profits coming or money coming in, right? So the main goal is to have the money flowing in, and this is where AIML can leverage and understand and analyze customers behavior. So here the basic analyzing thing can happen is understanding and predicting customer churn. So customer churn is nothing but, are customers leaving your organization or not, or are they leaving the frequency of the customer engagement is less. So that's what customer churn is all about. So sales ML empowers the sales and customer success teams to understand the sales data, analyze the pattern, and also to increase the customer retention. So here the customer lifetime value comes into play. So as I already mentioned, customer lifetime value is nothing but it's a number where can be a number of years or number of days, and the days could be like when the customer joined the company and as a customer, and then left the company or left the organization because of any bad experience. So this is the customer lifetime value, and this metric or this particular value helps the company or organization or any teams that studying customer pattern to understand how you could leverage. So this is why AIML is being used and to analyze and understand and predict customer churn, and based on the behavior they can make certain decisions. Like for example, they could provide marketing offers, they could provide free products to people who are like leaving the or coming out of the organization. So those all things that could be taken in terms of understanding the sales. And the third and very important thing is demand and supply. So let's be real, if there is no product in stock, you are not going to purchase, right? So that's very important. And that's when we as an organization or any teams, there's a particular team for all of this. So they study the inventory, stocks, details, data, sales, all those things they study, and then understand and forecast accuracy. So they forecast if the stocks are well ahead of the supply. We need as per the demand, the supply should be there, right? Or else it doesn't even make sense to have a company and then providing products to the customers. So that's when we can leverage AI and ML to like predict the demand and then more accurately fulfill the customers the demand on time. So this is a very important topic, and there has been a whole other discussions happening in demand and supply, because satisfying customers with products on time and is very important rather than the whole other pricing and discount purpose. So this is a very important topic too. And right when I said about pricing, the AIML can also provide dynamic pricing in terms of providing sales or discount offers for certain customers with personalized experience. So here we can see AIML provides an automated mechanism to in terms of understanding the market situation or inventory situation, and also cross channels, that is cross products. Like if one goes, if you purchase one product, they also give you an offer on other subsequent products. So that can be done, and also understand the demand of the product in a market. So in terms of Asia or any countries, based on the market situation, some products may be very moving, right? So pricing can also be dynamically changed or automated in terms of all these situation, and then that would help. As a customer, we would be happy to see that, because we want all the pricing to be discounted. Like we as a user always try to purchase goods in a less rate, and that's what we always look for, right? So dynamic pricing helps to improve customer experience in the overall level. And the very important topic is the healthcare. So now as a consumer, I've spoke a lot about consumer in terms of online sales, shopping and all that. But we are also a consumer in several other domains. That is, one is the healthcare. And a consumer cannot be just patient, but can be a person who's working in the hospital. Like for example, a receptionist or a representative or a doctor, for example. So all of these are also a consumer or customer. So AI and ML can improve in this industry in a tremendous rate. For example, clinical discussions, decisions, and outcomes. So here, AI ML can actually help the surgeons or the doctors to understand certain patients' condition and also provide them certain solutions, and so that they basically have their understand better, right, on in terms of patients, any history or any certain any difficulties that they had in the past. So all that data will help them to understand and make the decisions at proper rate and better success rate. So that's important. And the other thing is experience of the patient as well. So here customer could be a patient, and the best way is to provide communications, have more satisfied patient and fast healthcare. So health is very important, and giving a better communication and fast healthcare is very important. So there, AI and ML can also be play a very important role. And not just that, hospitals and healthcare industries are also institutions. So they also had to take care of their revenue cycles, financial performances. So in that aspect, I see AI ML can also provide automation, machine learning, and innovative solutions to help them make their repeatable process, make it more automated, and provide them results in a faster way. So that's important as well in terms of satisfying the whole, not just the patients but also the hospital in the whole. So healthcare industry, AI and ML in healthcare industry has been doing a huge progress, and it's been a very significant industry as well. So that this is also a very important topic in terms of increasing the customer experience. And the other thing is the education. So every one of us are students in any time, because me as an employer or any, I mean, I work in an organization. Although I work in an organization, I also study. So and after coronavirus, like all the COVID things happened, everything has been online, like right, all the sessions are online. All the students are attending schools online. So all of this is are the whole era is changing, right? So everything is in video platform, online videos or online materials are shared. So AI ML can also leverage this and understand the engagement of each students, and also learn the experience of each students in terms of video analytics. So that is also important. Improving this, analyzing and learning this will also eventually improve their learning experience and enable students to engage better in terms of the students and the mentors or students, teachers, all that. The engagement has to be improved. So that can be done. And also this would also improve their experience high, and this could actually cost the cost savings can be done. So in terms of going, let's take work from home, for example. I've been working from home, and several people have been working from home. So working from home is in terms of interactions, if there are a lot of engagements, and if your work is done in a better way or productive manner, it's also cutting your costs, right? Like you don't have to travel, you don't have to waste your money on certain expenses that were while traveling, right? So those all things are also important. So in education perspective, I would say learning, understanding video analytics, real-time video analytics on student engagement will go a long way in understanding and improving their students' learning opportunities. So the final thing is the some of the use cases. So this industry, AI ML can be used in several industries, and consumers are there in all the industries, right? So the first thing is the customer experience, improving customer experience in customer services, like agent care support. So in this, most of the applications, AI ML applications are being put into this effort, because I come from a telecom industry, like I work for Verizon. So I understand totally that working from in a telecom perspective, a lot of efforts are being made to reduce live usage of live agents, because that is it takes a lot of time to a human to understand a certain issues and then provide them with solutions. So rather than that, if a customer or a consumer get an quick response from a chatbot or quick sometimes it would be just troubleshooting problems, or it should be general inquiries, right? So for all set of things, you don't need a live agent to like come and talk to you for all that. So instead of that, if you have a chatbot or if you have a voice agent to like provide you with already a default answer, that would improve the cost and as well as reduce the usage of live agents. So that's important. And the other thing is AI driven cyber security and privacy. So everywhere, everybody here would know that it's important to like have your data private, and there are a lot of hacking things happening, right? So AI can also help in automate threat detection. Also, there are a lot of software-driven techniques being used in this field to understand the patterns on how things are being done. So AI is also being used in this domain as well. And certain end-to-end solutions such as like finding location, then you have the appointment scheduling. Like appointment scheduling can be for anything. Like for example, you want to see a doctor, you want to get your appointment scheduled. So all of these things are all can be AI driven. And so this basically we wanted to improve experience. So end of the day, it's all customer oriented. So that's why I'm listing out these use cases, because we as a consumer, all of us have gone through each and every of these topics, right? Like you have been a student, you have been to hospitals, you have been working on, talking to live agents. So all this have been a normal conversations or normal. As a consumer, you would have expected a better experience. So that's what AI and ML wants to like. As an organization perspective, AI/ML is basically being used to improve customer experience. So yeah, this is the use cases. So let's go on with the project on telecom churn model. So as I already mentioned, I work for Verizon and it's a telecom industry. So that's why I thought a churn model demonstration would be better for you to understand how AI and ML could be used in order to understand customer churning rate, and then provide the personalized decisions out of it. So hope you can see my screen, guys. So this is the project that I thought of mentioning. So in this project, we are going to explain the predict the behavior of to retain the customer. So the basic context here is to analyze all the relevant customer data and focus on any customer retention program. So a brief gist about the data set used here in this project is this is the telecoms churn data set, which has it's already cleaned, so not much to do. But what I could say is in a real time perspective, data is not clean, and you would need to do certain data pre-processing, data cleaning stuff that has to be done. So in terms of this 1 hour session, I got a data set in as a cleaned format, and the whole data set is a customer activity data set, and along with the churn label. So churn label specifies whether a customer has cancelled a certain subscription or not. So that these are the features will be used for this model. And the two data sets are provided, that is the 80-20 ratio, that is, you would know, right? 80-20 ratio is nothing but 80% of the data used for the training purpose and 20% is used for test purpose. So two data sets are there. And so the first thing is to always load the libraries, guys. So these are the common set of libraries that you need to have. For example, NumPy, Pandas, Matplotlib for data visualization, and a very cool data visualization package is Seaborn package. You can see here. It's a very cool package. And then you have certain other Plotly data visualization package that I've added, because this provide you a better visually it has to be better when you do a visualization. It should just a normal line graph and scatter plot would not give us a better insight, right? So I've added certain data visualization packages and NumPy and Pandas for us to like understand the data and manipulate the data. So yeah, let's execute this. So then we have the train and test data. As you can see, the data is actually put into my local drive. So that's why I'm like giving my drive here. And in the first step has to be always to understand the data. So here I've written data to understand get whole overview of the training set. So you have all these columns. So if you look into the data set, you have columns like state, account length, area code. Then since this is a telecom data, you can like correlate, right? International plan is there, voice mail plan is there, number of voice mail, number of messages, and then you have day minutes, day calls, day charts, and then you have the evening minutes, evening call, evening chart, similar for the night. And then you have the international minutes, international calls, and international charge, and number of customer service calls, and finally the churn label that is our interest, basically our target variable that we would like to predict. So here you can see there are no missing values, and as I already mentioned, the data has already been cleaned, so there is no missing values or anything that has to be done. And if you can see, the number of unique values are also mentioned here. So that's the whole. If you want to look into the overall data, so these are the steps, guys. Like you need to understand if there are any missing values or if there are any duplicates, and then you can remove the duplicates if not needed. And in terms of missing values, what I would suggest is in real time there would be a lot of missing values. In fact, the data would eventually be a sparse data. That is, there would be more missing than data at all. So in terms of having a missing values, what I would suggest you to do is to investigate why there is a missing value. In case if the data is like that by default, then you can remove the missing values if it does not make any sense. But if there is a certain pattern in certain missing values, then you can decode and encode them and have a certain value to specify that this is itself has a pattern. So that's how you may handle your missing values data set. So this is the overview of the training data, and this is the overview of the test data. So here is a similar thing that I've written. So you can see the number of rows is 600 and the number of rows for the training was 2600, and it's basically 80-20 ratio, nothing more high level here. And the other step is to explore the data, right? So here what I did is to plot the label that is called the churn label and understand how much of the labels are churn or not churn. So here you can, this is a donut chart, guys. So here you can see 85% of the people in this data set are churn data, and only 14.6 are around not churn. So this is a highly skewed data, people. So you need to like understand what you can do to have a highly skewed data, because ideally data shouldn't be skewed. You need to have a normal data like equal 50 to 50% difference. So that's that's the first thing that you need to learn, whether your data is very highly skewed or not. So that's the first thing. And in order to understand how the each numerical datas are performing, this is the best way to understand, that is the pair plot. So as you can see, there are a lot of numerical data, but if you just code this pair plot, which is a package from Seaborn package that I already mentioned, if you just put in all your data here, telecom is the training data, and all the columns here, you would get a pre-developed visualization. This is nothing but a pair plot, and it gives the correlation between each variables. So here you could see there are a lot of random scatter plots here, that which is nothing but all circles, right? And but other than that, you could see there is a straight linear line going. So in that you can observe that certain features, like for example total day minutes and total day charge, are very correlated. So it's also the same for the evening minutes, evening charge, and night minutes, night charge, and international minute, international charge. So these are all the insights that you can derive from the data. So pair plot helps us to understand how each and every numerical data features are correlated with each other. And the second thing is to understand the distribution, guys. So this is just a normal bar plot, and in terms of churn, with respect to differentiating the churn and not churn. So here you can see a lot of people are churning with respect to indirect to the people who are not churned. So that is one thing. And the another key insight that I found during this analysis is people who have been making more than one call and two calls, customer service calls, are churning a lot. So that is one thing that when an organization is learning a data, understanding a customer behavior is to understand how many times these people are customers are calling a customer support or customer agent, and understand how many times they are getting frustrated and then leaving the whole organization as a customer. So that is very important insight that you need to learn. And finally, the data processing. So data pre-processing is starts from you have to encode your certain categorical variable, and then you have to standardize the data. So the first thing is to always encode your data. And here the columns that I'm dropping is which does not make sense is these. And then what we are doing is to categorize the columns and label encode. Yeah, so this is the label encoding. So here you always fit the categorical variables and then transform and then untransform it. So this is how you have to first label encode the binary variables, that is a categorical variable, and then under because as a in a modeling perspective, if you see all the algorithms only recognize values in terms of features in terms of values, not in terms of a categorical variable. So it is always important to encode your categorical variables to a numerical variable or like zeros, ones, or twos, and then start building your model on top of it. So that is the first step. And then you can see, we have the standardize the variable. So what do you mean by standardize? So standardize is nothing but you are converting your numerical data into a normalized set. That is, for example, 0 to 1 or -1 to 1, so that all the data set is standard. And you don't because only when you standardize the data, the models can understand the patterns of each data and then make a prediction of prediction, and then find whether these patterns results to churn or not. So that's why it's very important to standardize your data, because it doesn't make sense to have one customer having 0 calls and one customer having 200 calls, right? So those things are the barriers that will be solved by standardizing your data using standard scalar. So the package used is nothing but standard scalar here. So you could see I have the scaled data for both test and train. I've standardized both the test and train data here, and the final test and train set is ready here. And this is the summary, the final summary of the database. So this, you can see the count for this is the training data count, and then you have the mean, standard deviation, then you have the 25, 50, 70 percentile, and then you have the min max also provided. So this is the final data summary. You could provide it in a normal way, but I just thought like provide it in a tabular manner could help us understand better. So that is there. And then this is just another step. It doesn't, it's not really, it's actually shouldn't be here, but what I would like to mention is you, instead of the pair plot that I mentioned before, you could also visualize the pair plot in terms of heat map. So this would give a visually like attractive insight, right? Like it will enable us to understand which is correlated, which is not correlated. So here the another thing that we understood is that the number of voicemail messages and voicemail plan is correlated. Like you can see it's yellow. So this is another insight that we found by drawing a heat map. So this is also an EDA process, guys. So this can be done earlier, but yeah, I'm just mentioning it to you all. So now that we have all the data processed and done, this is when we start the modeling. So data modeling, and here I've written a function to get all the data set and also have the classification report for each algorithm. And here you can see I have the predictions provided, I have the probabilities provided, and also the confusion metrics and the ROC AUC curve score, and we have the heat map provided here for the confusion metric. And then we have the scatter plot and the final thing for ROC UC score and the feature importance. So feature importance is really very important to understand which feature significantly the data or the customer is churning or not. So feature important is very important to analyze. So yeah, this is just the function that I've written. And it's not a big complex program because all of this is just coding the data visualization stuff. So that's not a big deal. So here you can see I went forward with the first baseline model is nothing but the logistics. So this is basically a classification problem. That is, you are trying to predict whether the customer is churning or not. That is, customer is leaving the canceling a subscription or not. So it's a classification problem. So the first baseline could always be a simple model, which is nothing but logistic regression in specific to the classification project. So here, once I developed the logistic regression model here, which is defined as logit, I ran the function that I already created above. And you can see here the classification report provided for the logistic regression. So the logistic regression accuracy is the F1 score is 0.82, but you can see the precision and recall and F1 score. So I'll get back to you on why we need to look into precision, recall, and F1 score. But you can see the accuracy score is around 82%, and it's quite good for a baseline model, and that is important here to look. And the confusion metric is nothing but it gives you a bucket kind of a structure where the actual how the values are put into each bucket in terms of actuals versus predicted. So here you can see this is highly the not churn criteria, right? The category has been correctly been bucketed, and you can see here the churn and churn has been very reduced, like only 16 of them has been bucket. And also the another important criteria way of analyzing your model performance is plotting a ROC curve. So here you can see this is the ROC curve. This is nothing but the blue line is the model performance with respect to logistic regression. So 0 to this red line is a baseline. This is it just shows that the model does not understand what the data is, and it randomly gives churn or not churn. So that is just a baseline, but our model, that is a logistic regression model, is giving us this curve, and it's quite okay because since we have already 82% of our accuracy for a first level, this is okay. And then if you come down, this is the feature importance, guys. So here you can see in feature importance perspective, international plan is very important here. So international plan is nothing but it's a categorical variable here, that is whether the customer has opted for an international plan or not. So international plan feature, it helps the company or an organization or a team to understand whether the customer is churning or not. So that's the reason why we wanted to plot a feature importance. And the least significant is the voicemail plan. So we can see from here, voicemail plan does not provide much importance. So either you can at least drop those least significant features and again run the model. But for the time perspective, I go on comparing other models as well. So let's go and understand what the other models are. So earlier you would have seen a donut chart, right? That 85% of the customers have churned and 14% of the customers have not churned. So as I said, the data is totally skewed. You need to fix the data. So in order to fix the data, this is a technique widely used that's called a SMOT, that is synthetic minority or oversampling technique. So basically what here this is doing is it takes the minority group, that is in this case not churn data, and it oversamples, and so that you have the equal ratio of data in your hand to perform this model. So the pros is that you could learn the data better because now you have a normalized data, not a skewed one. But the con of using this method is that sometime when you predict, it wouldn't be the right way. So sometimes the ideal way to always go is to apply normal model algorithm and understand how your model is predicting, and the other another way is to apply smart technique and understand how your model is predicting. So that's the way usually in a real time setting. That's why I wanted to mention that in a real time setting, this is how things are taken place. So yeah, this is another model which I would like to mention. This is a logistic regression, but with smart technique applied. So here you can see the classification report is accuracy has reduced a lot. So this is the 74 percentage a lot. And precision and recall, if you see for zero, that is not churn is 92 and 76. But if you look into precision for the churn, it's 39%. So it is actually reducing. So let's go for another model. So this is also the same way. So nothing much important here. As I already mentioned, it's the we have the confusion metrics, we have the ROC curve, and then we have the feature importance specified. So it's also the same here in group of features. You can see again international plan is providing is been shown as a highly significant feature, and the voicemail plan is the lowest one. So yeah. So the third model is I went forward with is the decision tree. So decision tree, as you all aware, is the it takes certain decisions on certain based on certain criteria like the Gini criteria, and it understands which best it has to take. So here the max depth has already been provided, which is 9, but you could also do understand the model better using grid search technique. Grid search technique is nothing but it's a way of understanding which depth the model performs better. So it is a automated process that the model package or decision tree package already has. So research technique can also be done, but here as a basic level, I have already mentioned it as 9. And the total churn prediction report, you can see the accuracy score has improved a lot. It has been it's reached to 90%. So as you can see from the baseline model to a better model, once you went to decision tree, the whole data is like the whole model is performing in a better rate. And you have to also check the precision and recall score and F1 score. So if you look into F1 score is also has improved a lot in terms of the data. So that's another learning that we learned from applying the decision tree model. And now with respect to random forest classifier, so I wanted to understand how a random forest classifier also works in terms of this data set, because a decision tree is nothing but a tree based setting, but random forest, it is a group of decision tree, right? So this also will help us to see whether the model could be improved better or not. So that's why I was specified random forest classifier also. So here the classification report is again the same. We see a lot of improvement here. That's we got around 91% of accuracy score, and also precision and recall is also improved. But you can see it has been a bit of a decrease in F1 score, but that's when you understand whether a trade-off should be taken, right? So that's very important. So the final thing I would like to the final thing is the comparison. So here I've plotted a data table where you can see we have the accuracy, ROC curve, and the metric. This metric is not very important, but what we can see is the accuracy has improved a lot, and random forest is the best model so far. And with the respective feature importance, number of customer service calls are important, international plans are important, and total day minutes are also very important. So these features enable the model to predict whether it's churning or not. So the final thing is here is based on these data sets. Well, now we understood. Okay, these features are important. Now the organization as an organization or a brand, they could take up certain measures like understand customer service calls are the higher the customer service, it's churning a lot. So this is where the chatbots or voice agents could come into play. So that these are the decisions that could be taken up to the higher authorities or the stakeholders that we are working for. And then the international plans, with respect to international plans, there could be offers or discounted offers for the loyal customers. or for the culture people who are churning a lot, we could understand the pattern on international plans and understand what could be done. Like providing discounted offers are the one thing that I could think now. But certain analysis also can, investigation analysis can be done here also, guys. So this is how a churn model is from start to end in a telecom industry. This is how people learn and understand the customer data, and then go on take up decisions or take up or understand, like start processing personalized offers or personalized marketing plans to the customers. So yeah, guys, so that's the whole project that I wanted to present for today. And like I said, the future scope is to analyze data more in depicting the churn of the customers. And then you could also understand, I mean, you could also learn the whole data by there are other modeling algorithms like boosting, ST boost, you have light GBM. So all these also could have been used, but in terms of our time here, I'm just putting this as a further scope alone. So yeah, that is the whole uh, session, guys. So I hope this was useful, and let me know if you have any questions.
Thank you so much, ma'am. We have some questions from audience. Can we take that?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, ma'am. So, should I read the question?
Yeah, I can also see. Just a minute.
Okay, ma'am.
Or you can take it anyway. Like if you can read the question, it's okay. I can respond based on what you're reading. That would also be good.
Sure, ma'am. So the first question is from Robbie that can you share this Jupyter notebook?
Yeah, I can definitely share. If you can send me a contact to whom I can share, I can share.
Okay, fine, definitely. So the next question is what is churn, ma'am, in detail?
Sorry, I didn't get you.
What is churn? Churn data.
So yeah, churn is nothing but, like I said, a customer churn is basically defined as a behavior when a customer is canceling a certain subscription. So for example, I am a Prime member, for example. So I'm saying for this year, I made the payment. I'm a Prime member, Amazon Prime member. But from next year, I'm feeling like I don't want to be a Prime member at all, and I'm canceling the subscription. So now I become a churned member, and then Amazon will be like, Amazon is losing a business, right? So that's what churn is all about, and that is why churn is important also, because you're losing business. You don't need a high churned rate in any business. So that's why I took this project, and I hope it's important to know also.
Okay. So the next question is the F1 score not important since the data is imbalanced?
No, data is, if data is imbalanced, you have to first balance it out. That's why I said you'll have to make the smart technique. But if but end of the day, it is always F1 score, guys, because accuracy is not that important, because in terms of every domain industry, you need to only look into certain precision or recall. And to make a trade-off between a precision recall, that's when you use F1 score. So F1 score is important. And as you can see in this project, Random Forest is giving us a better accuracy as well as a better F1 score. So that's why I suggested Random Forest is giving us a better, is performing the best in the lot. But this could be wrong if you're working, if you are training this whole data in a boosting model. Maybe boosting will also give a better model. So it depends, like whether you, if your organization wants a particular, like for example, your company or an organization or team is looking for a persistent higher precision rate, then go for precision rate. Or if you can't make a trade-off, then go with the F1 score.
Okay, ma'am. So the next question is how do we interpret F1 score and ROC curve?
F1 score is an harmonic mean between a precision and recall. ROC curve is the is the area under the curve. So you only find you understand that the curve you see, right? In the curve, if you can see if it goes closer to 1, that's the good model. So ROC curve is only it just gives you the visually you can see whether your model is good or not. But F1 score is a mean between precision and recall. That's the main difference.
Okay, ma'am. So next question is, if a model is predicting one category better, what does it mean?
One category in the better in the sense, like what we see is the not churn thing, right? So it means that it depends on your use case. So for example, you have a stakeholder to serve, and your interest is basically you wanted to only find those who are not churning, that is those who are loyal to you. So then that is not a problem. Then you only need to look into those customers and understand, okay, these people are staying with us. How would I make them more happy? So that is one thing. But if if your stakeholders are, or if your business person or any executives are like trying to understand, you want to see why people are churning, but your model is only showing what it is not, why it is not churning. That then you will have to that happens basically when you have the imbalanced data. So then you have to investigate. So the one thing is you always go back to the data team, or if you are the data team, then you have to understand the customer, get a more better data. So it's all depends upon the data that you can get, because end of the day, if your data is proper, you can learn it better. So it's for your question, I would say to get more data, and it shouldn't be imbalanced. Basically, if you have imbalance, that is how these problems happen.
Okay, ma'am. So the last question is, what is the difference between standardization and log transformation?
Log transformation is nothing but when you are if you have a large queue of data, you have to remove outliers or something, and you want to make it normalized. That is when you use log transformation. But for standardization is only when you have to make the feature normally distributed, right? Like for our project, you would see that if the features are very between 0 to 20, then you have to want it in between 0 to 1. It is like 0 mean. So basically, that's when you use the standardization. Thank you. Thanks everyone. Bye bye.